Welcome to your Essential Business Briefing. I'm Kate Moody. Coming up, as the EU unveils its new climate plan, we'll speak to the boss of car-sharing platform Getaround about driving change in car ownership. A revival of linen that's 100% made in France, as new spinning mills bring the production process closer to growers and consumers. Plus, a uniquely French drink with an English twist. We'll meet the entrepreneur who's giving pastis a taste of the British coast. The European Union has unveiled sweeping new legislation to tackle climate change over the coming decade. The Fit for 55 package, so named because it aims to cut emissions to 55% of 1990 levels, includes new carbon pricing rules and much stricter emissions rules for cars. The sale of new petrol and diesel engines will be phased out from 2035, and there'll be more EU money to help with this transformation. Well, let's speak now to Karim Bousta, Chief Executive of the car-sharing platform Getaround, which operates in 130 countries around the world. Thanks for joining us today. How is the phasing out of diesel and gas engines going to affect your business?
Hi, Kate, and thank you for the opportunity. We're very excited about the transition to sustainable energies and phasing out of combustion engine vehicles. And the reason is because the vision for Getaround is to accelerate the adoption of car sharing as an alternative to car ownership. There's 1.2 billion cars today on the planet that most of the time spend 95% of the time not being used and being parked and creating congestion and pollution. And our vision is to eliminate that problem by making it easy and convenient to access cars that you don't own. And making cars being shared so that we can reduce this gigantic waste. So the model of a society and cities where a lot of cars are going to be electric, which requires to adapt the infrastructure, creating charging network, charging stations, is very well adapted and a great match with the idea of making more cars shared and reducing the individual ownership of cars.
So you're already really on the road towards this greener vision. How many of the cars on your platform at the moment are electric or hybrid? And do you have a specific target in that area?
So our ultimate target is that we really believe that every car should be using sustainable energy. The adoption today of electric vehicles on our platform pretty much aligns with the adoption or the penetration of electric or hybrid vehicles in the respective markets and countries. In countries that are very ahead in the transition, like Norway, we are at 30% of our cars on the platform being electric. And growing very fast. In other countries that are a little behind, we're pretty much at the same level of penetration, sometimes as low as a few percent. But I must say that because of the nature of the service, so we make it easy and convenient to use, to share cars and access them on a day-to-day basis. Vehicles like hybrid, like the Toyota Prius or Toyota Camry, are actually the most popular on the platform.
Now, not everyone can replace their individual cars with a sharing platform. In remote rural areas, for example, it's much more difficult. What's the potential share of a population that your platform can reach in a country like France?
So this is where our model and our vision comes into play to address that exact problem that you just mentioned. The way we have designed the platform and the service is to be 100% digital. So it does not require interactions, in-person contact. We can literally have shared vehicles located and made available in small villages with as little as 500 people or 1,000 people living there, knowing that they will not need hundreds of vehicles being made available. They probably need a few, maybe 10 or 15. And we have started to roll out that model in small cities across, so starting with the US and rolling out soon in Europe and in France.
Now, one of the real issues with owning an electric car is a lack of infrastructure. You've recently done a deal with the French oil company Total Energy to provide more access to charging points. How fast will those facilities be built and where will they become available?
So that's a great point. We have indeed just very recently announced a strategic collaboration with Total that is designed to expand car sharing, accelerate the adoption of car sharing, and with a heavy focus on reducing carbon emissions. And the whole objective of this is to make it easy, as easy as we can, for people to share and access electric vehicles on the car sharing platform. So the whole ambition of this is not only to to leverage Total's heavy ambitions in creating a very convenient network of charging stations, but it's also to make the whole experience for the users and for the car owners extremely flexible and extremely easy. So essentially everything integrated into an app, and you just have to click a few buttons to either manage your car on the network if you own a car, or access it if you're a. So in terms of the rollout, we are working as we speak on the sequence, on the timing, the geographical scope of the rollout. We'll be in a position to make more concrete announcements, we hope, very soon. And we're really talking of both a commercial collaboration, but also technology collaborations to achieve this level of integration and ease of use that I was mentioning. And there will be more announcement coming soon.
In Europe and North America, we're seeing surging prices and in some cases even shortages of rental cars this summer season. Is your platform seeing higher demand as a result, and can you cope with it?
That's a great question. We are seeing that indeed as a result, obviously, of two things: the end of the travel restrictions and the need that everybody feels to travel again and move again. I'll tell you, it is a challenge. We have to find ways to add more cars on the platform, incentivize and encourage more car owners to put their cars on the platform in order to meet the demand. And we're focused at making this happen as we speak, because this is when people summer travel is really the peak of the demand, when people really need these cars.
Karim Bousta, Chief Executive of Getaround, thank you so much for joining us today. Next, to a traditional industrial process that's seeing a revival in France. The country is the biggest grower of flax fiber in the world, but to be made into linen, that flax is often shipped thousands of kilometers to China to be spun into thread. New French spinning mills are now hoping to change that, as Camille Nedlek reports.
This is the sound of the rebirth of linen 100% made in France. This mill in the eastern region of Alsace is spinning linen fibre, the first in the country for 15 years. France is one of the world's top producers of flax, the raw material for linen, but most of it is sent to Asia to be spun into thread and sold around the world, including back to France. An unacceptable situation for this entrepreneur.
En ayant tout l'écosystème autour de nous, c'est cette proximité aujourd'hui qui nous permet de maîtriser la matière, de maîtriser l'innovation, plutôt que de tout importer et d'être un simple acteur qui subit les aléas de la conjoncture internationale.
The Alsatian experiment has inspired others too. In Normandy, another entrepreneur is getting ready to start his own spinning mill. His goal isn't to compete with the Chinese factories, but to target a different market. As linen requires much less nitrogen or water than cotton, it's an increasingly attractive choice for eco-conscious consumers.
Ça va pas être les mêmes clients, ça va plutôt être sur des clients haut de gamme qui vont réellement baser leurs critères sur l'histoire qu'on raconte autour du produit. Et quand on achète un canapé, quand on achète une chemise, on achète un produit, mais on achète aussi l'histoire qui va avec.
Despite these new French mills, flax growers here still expect to export the bulk of what they produce.
Ce mouvement-là, il ne va pas s'inverser. Donc, on va partir de pas grand-chose, peut-être 0,5, 1% dans quelques années. Puis dans 10 ans, peut-être qu'on fera 2, 3. Et puis dans 20 ans, je ne sais pas vous dire, mais moi, j'ai beaucoup d'espoir sur ces marchés-là.
Manufacturers are also researching new ways of using linen in combination with other fabrics to create less polluting alternatives.
Aniseed-flavored liquor is a popular drink across much of the Mediterranean. In France, pastis is served as a pre-dinner tipple, particularly associated with the city of Marseille. Now, a distiller in the southwest of England is making his own version of pastis with a Cornish twist. Claire Rush has the story.
Over the past century, it's become one of the most popular alcoholic drinks in France, pastis. Hailing from the country's south, the anise-flavored spirit evokes warm summer days on the Mediterranean coast. But further afield from sun-kissed southern France, across the English Channel, a new pastis landscape is taking shape. Cornwall, in southwestern England, is now home to the UK's first producer of the spirit.
Yeah, so this is the distillate from the still. So the batch runs for about 6 hours.
Tarkin Leadbetter initially used these copper pot stills to make gin, but in 2013, memories of southern France had him feeling inspired.
On a tiny little still like this on my cooker at home, started to distill things like aniseed and licorice, and I knew when I tasted them that they were worthy of being a spirit in their own right. I lived in France in my early 20s, and it came to me, it just made sense to try and make something other than gin.
In France, pastis is diluted with water, but some British consumers add tonic instead.
This pastis in particular is so versatile in the ways you can use it. So because you've got so many more flavours.
The Cornish recipe features the traditional botanicals seen in its French counterpart, anise, fennel, cinnamon, but the local gorse flower sets it apart. Tarkin and his team hand-pick it themselves.
This grows all across the coast of North Cornwall, has this amazing sort of sea of yellow when it's in bloom, and it has this incredible scent of coconut.
Just 9 years after its founding, the Southwestern Distillery now has 70 employees. Its product is appearing on the shelves of London bars, an expansion the company hopes will be seen across the UK.
That's all for now, but you can catch this and all our previous episodes on the France 24 website, and you can get in touch with your comments and questions on social media. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Residents from France's disadvantaged suburbs tell their own stories and take the viewers beyond the usual clichés about the French banlieue.
Moi, j'avais envie de dire, mais allez-y, pétez-les les cases. Moi, je viens de là, donc je m'arrête là. Moi, j'ai fait ci, donc je suis condamné à ça. Non!
Moi, ce que je vois, c'est des jeunes hommes et des jeunes femmes qui sont fiers de leur origine, fiers de leurs parents, et sont fiers d'être français.
Watch their daily reality in the Banlieue Project on France 24 and France24.com.